Alright guys, welcome to episode number 5 of the Foosball Focus series. This is the 4th week of the points race, and let's get to it. This is the match in full for this week. It was taken from the second round of the tournament. On the left side you've got Shove and Wayne Ritchie, and on the right side you've got Havel and Stone, with Havel playing the forward position. And yeah, let's see what kind of crazy ramblings I can come up with as this match develops, and talk about what's going on, etc. As things start off a little slowly. Excuse me. So yeah, neither one of these teams really, I would say on paper, are a clear favourite. I do think with Chris Havel having some reasonable form in the points race, it gives his team a slight edge, but really they're pretty evenly matched, and it seems like no one wants to score this first point as they keep going back and forth here. It's a pretty sweet ball pass by Shove there. And Ben has a really slow defense that messes with your timing on rollovers, and usually blocks pretty well, I say. Both goalies actually are great blocking goalies. Wayne's probably got a little more offense from the 2-bar, but Ben's pretty smart back there as well. Ben Stone, he can clear the ball very well, and he's a very good passing goalie back there, and can definitely chime in with a point or two. I mean, he does have some good shots back there as well. Just 4 really solid players, to be honest. Not really a weak spot on the table. Ben having a little difficulty setting up the ball before smashing a pass down up to Havel there. That was a wicked pass. You see Wayne doing this kind of a 3-man D, where he switches between regular formation and then reverse D, where you switch your guys over, and it's giving Havel problems at the moment. Don't know if you guys saw that on the camera, you'll need to rewind that, but that ball was going... Let me start again. Wayne was shooting that from the 2-bar, and it went through the serving hole on Shove's side of the match. On Shove's side of the table, I'm sorry. I've seen that like once ever before, so that's pretty sick. And still at 1-1 here in this first game. See what Havel does here. Finds that push side. So far I think Havel's only gone to the push side. It looks like that's his game plan going in. He's gonna start by exploiting that push side and see how it develops from there. Already I think by now both teams have had quite a number of 5-bar possessions, and that's something that Shove does pretty well there. I don't know if you noticed that, but he got blocked, the ball came back to him, and he immediately shot something, and it could be a straight, it could be a pull, a push. He really mixes that up well. He also does that on the 5-bar. It's as if, because he got the ball back, he feels as though he can take a risk, and so he does something a bit quicker, and you never really know where he's going to go with it. He could go to the pull side, like I said, or the push. So it's not like you can really stay on one side of the goal or the other. It makes it hard as a goalie, because you kind of have to be on guard immediately, because you know he's threatening to score. At 2-2 here, I consider the 2-2 point to be a semi-big point, not a huge turning point, but certainly it's nice to go up 3-2 rather than down 3-2. Let's see who takes control of it at 3-2. So far Havel's been going to the push side, and he goes push again, and it looks as though Wayne was actually there, and so that was a fortunate one to go in for Havel. But nonetheless, in the hole it went. That's foosball. Looks like Wayne's just trying to clear the ball with that one. And having a little difficulty there So 3-2, this is the first possession for Chris at 3-2. And again going to the push side, and Wayne actually was able to get a man completely on that one this time and take it away. Does come back to him though. Let's see what he does here. And another push side. So one of two things is happening. Either Chris is not feeling comfortable shooting a pull side right now, or it's his game plan and he's just not timing the hole as well as he would like. But you know, that could very well be that he's just looking to exploit the push side over and over again. And also, given that he's up 3-2, it's not a bad time for him to take a risk and go for an extra push side, as he can afford to take that risk. Had it have been a closer point, maybe he would have tried a pull side. Who knows? Shov's struggling here at 3-2 as well. It seems like no one wants to get this point, and I think 3-2 is the second biggest point of each game, after the 4-4 points. So these are the points, guys, that I recommend if you have an ace in the hole, a certain pass or a certain shot that you believe will work 100%. Save it for the 3-2 points, save it for the 4-4 points. Obviously 4-4 is a huge point, but 3-2 as well. If you go up 4-2, it's so demoralizing, or it can be so demoralizing for the other team. So it's a very valuable point to get. Thus, I like to save my big passes for those points. 4-3 down here. Another good time to bring out an ace in the hole. And that was a nice lane pass there. You could tell Havel was saying to himself, make Shov hit a nice lane pass, and Shov was able to do that, so credit to Shov for that. Risky play there at 4-3 to shoot a quick straight shot, but he'd been getting some success to the straight, and who knows, that could have been a read that he had seen earlier on to do a quick straight. I don't like to take gambles at, with quick points, even if I have kind of read that could be open, but that's just because I'm a pussy. So fair play to Shov for having balls of steel right there. At 4-4, let's see. That was a beautiful shot there from Wayne. He looked like he's been trying a few passes, and this time he was opening up back there to try and take the first game. So I like that play by Wayne. If I'm Shov here, even though this is a steal, I'm looking to take my time on this 5-bar possession, which he does, which I really do like. And that was a sweet runner pass. So let's see if he can convert at the first time of asking. He's been having quite a lot of success to the straight. And it looks like Ben's kind of all over the goal here. Nothing's really obvious. And Shov's able to pick a sweet pull side. Excuse me, guys, I'm sorry, I do have a terrible cough. Bloody winter and all that. So let's see if Havel sticks with this push side strategy, or if he begins to mix it up here at the start of the new game. And he looks as though he did go pull side there, and somehow Wayne actually kind of ran into that one on the switch. I think that was unlucky. I think Havel was unlucky to miss that. Wayne seemed to be kind of camping on the push side. And again, you can see there's just almost exclusively one of Wayne's goalie players blocking the push side at this point. Wayne, that one was unfortunate. Wayne is a possessor of a really sick pull kick back there. He can drop some serious bombs and is very good in goalie wars, so you always have to keep your eye out for that. And unfortunately this has been happening quite often with Chris recently, where he's been setting the ball up and not able to execute quite like he would like, and unfortunately just losing the ball and it either going back to his 5-row or going to Wayne in the goalie area. I have spoken to Chris about this. He is continuing to work on it. It's I think his pull shot is actually the stronger shot, and I believe he probably thinks so as well. But you know, he's dedicating some time to the snake shot to really strengthen it. And you know, it's vital to have, in my opinion, it's vital to have multiple weapons on the 3-row. You know, if you just have one shot that the goalie is blocking consistently well, it's really nice to have a secondary shot. So I don't blame Chris for sticking with this and making sure he has two solid shots. That one may look like an accident to you where it cuts back, but actually that is perfectly intentional. Chris does have a great snake shot where he cuts the ball back to the push side, especially when you're in that standard D. If you show that standard D for too long, he can cut you pretty consistently, and so that's why Wayne actually switches a lot. And Wayne was just caught on the regular D there for Chris to hit that cut back. And it looks as though they've made a switch here with Wayne going to the forward position. I believe that was to block Havel's 5-bar. It wasn't for offensive reasons. So I like that switch. Wayne does actually have a great pull shot up front as well, so I don't mind him taking shots up there as well. Shove hasn't been doing particularly great, so you know, it's not like he's lighting Ben up by any stretch, so you know, it's never a bad thing to have Wayne, who has a cannon of a pull shot, to go up there and take some shots, and he converts that one pretty well with a John Wayne. So let's see here, on a new goalie, let's see if Chris goes back to that push side. Shove is another proponent of this slower defense where he messes with your timing. That one, it didn't work out for him as Chris was able to find the push side, so he did go push again. And it seems to be a pretty dead heat here on the 5-bar at the moment. Both players, if I'm honest, not valuing possession quite like they could do. It seems as though whenever one of them makes a steal, they feel like it's a good time to try something high risk, as it's almost a free possession for them. And you know, in times that can work out and it can be great, especially if you're 3-2 up, you make a steal and you do something quick. You know, some great players I know who do things like that. Billy Pappas is great at doing that. Rob Ather is great at doing that, and it can be really demoralizing because they steal the ball off you so quick, they do something so quick offensively, and before you know it, you're 4-2 down and you're thinking, well shit, how do I get back into this game? If it's not working out though, which so far it hasn't been in this game, I don't see it as a bad thing to try and take your time and make a good solid read. That one there to the pull side, it looks like Havel missed the goal. So the few pull sides that he has tried have either been blocked or missed the goal. So let's see what he does next time. If I were Havel, I would look to wait for that straight to open up again. When Wayne or Shove doesn't reverse D very often, so when Havel gets the ball up front, if he just waits for Shove to have his men on the push side, then that cutback to the push side is actually on. It looks as though the straight is covered, but he's actually cutting the ball back between the guys. I don't think he uses that enough. I think that's one of his greatest weapons actually on his snake shot. And yeah, like I say, I think it's underutilized. Wayne here with another shot at 4-3 down in the second game here. That was a really nice middle actually. Wayne does really have a nice shot up front. A really smooth dead bar pull shot stroke, and he's actually made videos of himself crushing pull shots, dead bar, even with the bumper all the way pressed up against the wall as well. I mean, he can really get that thing out there, so you have to guard that long, and then of course he can hit middles as well. Chris hitting another push side there to win the second game. So it is no secret that Chris's push side is his favourite side. If I were the other team in this match, I would be looking to really test his pull side, see if he can hit a good one. And so far I don't think either one of them have really done that. I think Wayne has done that more so than Shove. But yeah, neither one of them has done that to a great extent. Another fantastic shot there from the back from Ritchie. And the the ball's kind of just going back and forth between the two goalies here for a moment. That was an unfortunate pass effort that Shove couldn't quite pick up. And Chris actually picks up a lot of loose balls in this match, and I think that's just a component of the style that Chris has. He's very aggressive, both defensively and offensively, with the way he passes and the way he shoots. And so he does end up picking up a lot of loose balls. He has great reactions, and I think that's part of the formula to why he wins matches when he does, because his 3-row doesn't always get the job done at a high percentage, but he gets enough extra possessions that you see him shoot maybe 40%, but he's had an extra 10 possessions than you, so that's where his goals are coming from. That one rags in there at 2-1 in the third game. And I think by this point, neither forward's numbers have been spectacular, but neither forward's numbers have been miserable either. I think they're both somewhere around about that 40 to 50% mark on both the 5-bar and the 3-bar. The problem is they've had so many possessions each, and it just seemed like neither one of them kind of had the killer instinct to take the game by the scruff of the neck and, you know, when you're 2-1 ahead, go 3-1 ahead, or when you're 3-2 ahead, go 4-2 ahead. Instead, they would kind of almost take a risk and be a little complacent, and it would allow the other team to get back into the game. I kind of joked after the match that, you know, it looked honestly as though they wanted a Grand Slam finish. Neither one of them wanted to go ahead too far in the match, which of course is not true. I'm not suggesting match fixing, guys. That only happens in Italian football. That's real football, by the way, not American football, which is just rubbish. I apologize to anyone. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. That English football is far supreme. See there at 3-2 in the third game, Havel tries a tic-tac far side wall pass after picking up a loose ball. That's exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about. It could have been that he could bring that under his control and then, you know, use one of his ace in the holes at that point to go 4-2 up and really put Shove and Ritchie under some great pressure. But instead he, in my opinion, wastes the possession, and then before you know it, it gives Ritchie and Shove another opportunity to come back in the match. But here we go at 3-2. He has a shot here to go at 4-2, and it looks like that one missed the goal again. So he's kind of struggling with that pull side, as Wayne actually rags that ball in. And Ritchie and Shove have switched again, it looks like. We cut out some of the dead footage there. There was a little bit of play where basically nothing happened, so that's why you saw them switch so immediately on the left side of the table. And Shove does have a really great passing 2-row, and he can also hit some really good push kicks and push shots from the back there. Just plays smart in goal generally. He's doesn't really have anything too physically spectacular, no booming longs or anything like that, just a real solid 2-bar, and he gives Wayne an opportunity here at 3-3. Which it looks as though Wayne was trying to go long there. Wayne's more than capable of going dead bar effortlessly, but Ben was able to get a nick on that one, but unfortunately it went into their own goal. So this is where it's kind of crunch time for Havel. It's the third game, they're 4-3 down, and if I'm Shove, I'm saying it's got to be a pull side. But Shove leaves the push side. It looked as though he kind of wanted to be on the push side and take away that side, but Chris was able to kind of time it really well and catch Shove off guard. So, you know, I don't fault Shove too much for that. It looked as though the plan was there. It just, you know, Havel's timing was just kind of a good time for Havel, I guess. And I haven't talked a lot about where Shove's been going, pull side or push side, and the main reason for that is because I don't think he really favours one side. He mixes it up pretty well. If anything, I think his timing is somewhat similar. which can give some goalies an indication as to when he's going to go. Which, you know, as a defending goalie, it's about knowing when and where your opponent's going to go. And if you know when, that's half the battle. And sometimes Shove can get into a pattern with when he's going to go. Obviously, he does mix it up with the quick ones when he makes a steal. But usually, you know, his timing is somewhat similar. But he can execute both sides very confidently. And so can Chris. I mean, if you leave Chris a pull side rather, you know, he'll nail it. It's just, you know, he can be talked into a push side a little easier. And that was a sweet brush up from Chris. He does have a great 5. He has a great brush up and a really high chop down option, which makes it really hard to camp out in the lane because he can really get a deep brush down, so you know, it's kind of, you can never get caught out in no man's land. And at 5-5 here, I'd say 5-5 is a pretty big point. Let's see what Chris does here at 5-5. Which side's he going to go? Wayne seems to just be kind of all over that push side at that point. So good D from Wayne there. It looks as though Wayne's looking to get on the offense and try and get his team ahead 6-5. He ain't messing about back there. Wow, and that's a really nice pass. So let's see what Shove can do at 5-5 here. And I guess I haven't really mentioned Stone a lot. He's done a really quiet but effective job back there as Havel gets this one through. Let's see what happens. Wow, a quick pull side Euro pin. I actually really like that play. Chris has been struggling with the snake shot, and you know, he very rarely does something like that. So that was a really awesome play by Chris. Completely caught them off guard. I like that risk. But yeah, going back to Ben Stone, you know, he really has played a quiet, solid match. He's cleared the ball well. He got stuffed maybe once. Other than that, I don't think he's done anything too damaging to his team's overall chances. I think he's blocked at a reasonable clip. I think he's done enough to give Havel the time to score his own points and ultimately win his team the match. But then I can also say that Ritchie has done the same. It's just been that neither forward has really posted superior numbers. They both are very even at this point. Well, that one was very unlucky. Stone going for a cutback tuck pull shot there, and it kind of hit the corner. So that was super unlucky. And that was a sweet pull shot from Wayne. 6-5 down. What a time to get a point from the back. So that was awesome. Clutch goalie play by Ritchie. Shove with the steal here, and again going into a risk at 6-6. I think that was a mistake personally. Had it worked out, obviously I wouldn't be saying that. So it's a little results oriented thinking, but you know, at 6-6 you can value the possession maybe a little better. That was an awesome pull side. It looked like Havel had finally had enough and said, screw this, I'm going pull side. I don't care what Wayne does. And Wayne, obviously like he should, stayed on the push side to play the high percentage defense, but Havel was able to just smash it to the pull side. So it's 7-6 down. Shove here. Looks like Ben's baiting the pull side. And one of the first rags of the match. And that's going to do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my commentary and my ramblings. I hope it didn't make the match any less interesting. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, guys.